what is considered a non-competitive inhibitor? And when we talk about inhibitors here, we are talking about molecules which inhibit or prevent the reaction between an enzyme and a substrate in order to form a catalytic reaction, which is what speeds up a certain chemical reaction. It's a catalyst. And sometimes these inhibitions are necessary, especially certain medications. They work by inhibiting certain reactions that are no longer needed or we want to reduce from occurring so that we could have the desired results that we're looking for. So the difference between competitive versus non-competitive reaction. So if we take a look at our competitive over here, and we're going to draw an enzyme that goes with it. And then we are also going to make a non-competitive example. And let's make our enzyme here as well. All right, so if we take a look at this part here in both enzymes, this is what is known as our active site. So active site, we'll write AS for short. And this is where your substrate would need to bind to in order for the reaction to occur. So substrate would go here, let's say here. So same thing. The difference here would be what is going to occur to try and prevent this substrate from binding. So let's say for both of them that we have our substrate here. So this is substrate, substrate. And let's draw another molecule that's trying to inhibit this substrate from forming. So if you have another molecule here, and they are both competing for the same active site. So they are both working against each other to try and both get to that location, because the molecule, if it gets there to that active site, it will be inhibiting the substrate from forming. And what kind of inhibition are we looking at? Well, if they're competing for this same active site location, this is known as competitive inhibition, which, as we could see on option A, a substance that binds and inhibits an enzyme at its active site, that's an example of competitive inhibition. And therefore we would eliminate option A because we are looking for a non-competitive inhibitor. Now, if we look over here at the example for non-competitive inhibition, this would occur if you have a molecule, let's say, that binds over here, not at the active site. So by doing so, it's causing some degree of inhibition, not exactly as much as competitive, but overall the idea is that it's binding at a different location, not at the active site. So if we look at option B here, it says a substance that binds and inhibits an enzyme at a location different from the active site. And that sounds like the definition of a non-competitive inhibitor, which is what we are looking for this question. So that would be correct. Now, taking a look at options C and D over here, it's saying a substance that binds to an enzyme at an active site but causes an opposite effect of an agonist. This is an example of an inverse agonist because it's not antagonizing, it's agonizing. It's causing some sort of reaction, but it's inverse. It's the opposite type of reaction. So that would be the definition of that term. So we can eliminate that because that's not what we're looking for. And then option D says a substrate that binds to an enzyme and an active site and causes full activation. So it's fully activating or agonizing. So this is a full agonist definition, not what we're looking for this question. So we can eliminate that. So option B, a substance that binds and inhibits an enzyme at a location different from the active site, that is non-competitive inhibition.